Hi, I'm Kevin Coupe,
And I'm Tom Furphy.
and this is the Innovation Conversation. So, Tom, I wanted to come back to you on a couple of different stories that we've run over the last week or two on Morning Newsbeat. One was this long story in the I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, and it was about product culpability. It was really focusing on whether Amazon should be culpable, responsible for the products that it's sold on its marketplace, and um, and it was really interesting logic. Although some of it was sort of flawed, because one of the arguments was, well, you can't hold them responsible because if you hold them responsible, they're going to shut down the marketplace, and that would be bad for consumers. Well, they're not going to shut down the marketplace. I don't think it's more than 50% of their retail
Right.
sales.
Can't do that.
But I guess, but to me, it's a broader issue than just Amazon, right? Anybody who's selling product of any kind, whether you're carrying it on the shelves of your store or selling it online or whatever, I mean, to me, they just simply have to take more responsibility for this stuff. I mean, Glenn Trabek, our old friend, right, used to say that it's really important for retailers not to be a sales agent for the manufacturer, but rather to be the representative for the customer.
Exactly.
And I think you would agree that's what they have to do, even if they have to build new and innovative infrastructures into their businesses.
Right. Well, and there's the famous Jeff Bezos quote, right, that says, "We're not in the business of selling things. We're in the business of helping people buy things." And I think that, you know, historically they've helped people buy things by attracting, a massive assortment to the marketplace and to the retail website. But for this purpose, to the marketplace, expanded selection, great prices, good delivery promise. And when you're talking about literally tens, if not hundreds of millions of SKUs, uh, that proposition that you've delivered becomes really risky because you absolutely risk some bad stuff getting on there. I think it's something that they recognize. I think it's something that it's not an easy problem, and of course they have all kinds of language on the site, and they have all kinds of requirements of sellers, to be selling legitimate stuff. It doesn't mean you can't have a bad actor out there. I think they're going to ultimately need to develop, some better auditing capabilities. Right now it kind of self audits, right? If a product is bad, you'll get a bad review. There'll be a customer Q&A or form around that. Amazon will see that and they'll pull the product down. It's better than nothing, but it's not probably what it should be.
Well, and they're certainly capable of it. I mean, Amazon, if nothing else, has proven that it is entirely capable of adjusting and coming at the business in a different way. This has nothing to do with product culpability, but I don't know about you. I've noticed that Amazon is doing a much better job in terms of packaging lately. Things are being combined in boxes. I'm getting more envelopes than boxes. It to me, and just in the last couple of months, there seems to be a marked improvement in terms of less waste, in terms of packaging, and that's them adjusting to the marketplace.
Absolutely. No, and it is something that, even for years, Amazon has recognized that packaging particularly is an issue and something that they wanted to improve. Of course, they spoke about it at FMI Midwinter, and they had some great stats about the amount of waste that they are reducing. I remember when I was there, trying to get products combined into the same box were always challenging. It often was challenging because the products existed in different facilities, right? We'd have products scattered all throughout the U.S. in as many facilities as made sense to be efficient in getting those products to the shopper. But lots of times they're in different spots. If they're in different spots, it's hard to put them in the same box. But now, as Amazon gets more mature, as they get more products into more facilities,
And they have a lot more facilities,
and they
right?
have a lot more facilities, yeah, but they're able to do that a lot more, and they're able to kind of tune their fulfillment capabilities to enable that to happen.
By the way, and I didn't want to focus this all on Amazon, but there was the other interesting story we had the other day about how Amazon is going to use these micro fulfillment centers to make it possible to order before, if you place an order before midnight, to have it sitting on your door at your door by 7 o'clock the next morning. If I'm not mistaken, when you were doing Amazon Fresh, and you right in the early days of testing,
That
that
sounds familiar.
was offered.
Yeah, we did do that. We enabled orders to come in old school though through the website, and then when they came in old school through the website, we actually had humans We'd go out and pick and pack those orders, put them in totes, and we'd have them loaded onto trucks by 4 a.m. and they'd be actually loaded on the trucks by probably 3:30 a.m. and they'd be delivered pre-dawn before 6 a.m. Which is a great time to drive and do deliveries. There's no traffic.
But I thought it was fascinating when that story popped up because Tom did that a long time ago.
What's old is new again.
Lots of stuff going on at Walmart. Not only are they kind of rejiggering all their buying and merchandising functions, so online and physical stores that are going to start to be done by the same people, same kind of reporting structure. They brought in a new COO for e-commerce. I don't know if you want to comment on this or not, but it seems to me that the foundation is being laid for Mark Ward to make a gentle departure from the premises. He's going to do a Mike Bloomberg.
Right. He's not as wealthy as Bloomberg, but he's not far short. No, I have no idea what's going to happen with Mark, and but clearly they're bolstering the team around him. They're moving some things. It's hard to tell what he is or isn't in control of, so I have no idea what is happening there. But I do think overall, though, when you see organizational changes made to more align kind of traditional retail operations with e-commerce, call it omni-channel, integrated, whatever. I mean, as a customer, working with a retailer, I don't care. We talked about this last week. I buy from many shelves. I can buy from you in many ways. And I want a consistent experience across that. And so if the same leadership can be running that, that's certainly beneficial to me as a customer. And it also helps even as a supplier to the retailer, to be working with, a smaller, consistent staff across those channels.
Well, sure. I guess the only cautionary note for Walmart is sometimes the people in charge of the physical stores have seen online as a threat and
right.
sort of beat it back. So as long as there's a recognition that these are co-equal, even if they're not doing the same level of business, obviously, these have to be co-equal functions, all building on the same piece of the same value proposition, then it makes utter sense.
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to my Amazon days, and even really at Wegmans, we thought this way. If you think of the customer and work backward, and then you get your processes and everything you're doing to serve that customer aligned, and then you get your metrics aligned toward that, and reward, and incent and reward folks based on those metrics, it really does work, right? You're all collectively working through your various functions towards serving that customer.
Hey, what did you make of the fact that Walmart lost one of its delivery logistics partners? I think it was Skipcart.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they canceled their contract with Walmart. They weren't a big deal, but they had a chunk of business. And they said, listen, nobody's ever going to make money delivering groceries. We're going to deliver for restaurants and fast food places. Nobody's ever going to make any money. And they just want it out. What did you make of that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, that specific case. It is hard to make money delivering groceries. In fact, the actual act of delivering groceries itself doesn't really make money, right? You have to build how to subsidize that into your overall plan. So it's either through product margin, maybe getting your manufacturers to help, getting the customer to pay for it. It behooves you to be as efficient as you possibly can in loading up those delivery routes and last miles with as many products and as many stops as you can. But the act of delivering itself is very expensive. And, as a delivery partner, you absolutely need to have a ton of volume, and a ton of stops and an economic model that works. I'm not sure what their economic model was, but clearly it wasn't sufficient to cover their costs of actually doing the deliveries.
Well, another good reason why it's important to look at lifetime customer value as opposed to per transaction profit, right? I mean, if you look at the long-term customer value, you can start to justify things you wouldn't be able to justify if you're only looking at this particular sale.
Ideally, if you can actually capture that through all the ways that you serve that customer, and then you're willing to make that investment and that loss, or that cost for that, way to serve them through delivery, then yeah, that's certainly a way to look at it for sure.
What did you make of, finally, two interesting stories having nothing to do with Walmart or Amazon? Fresh Direct in New York, clearly having financial issues. They had to get some, the government to let them not pay their taxes for a few years because they just got financial problems, even as they want to expand up and down the East Coast. So they're having issues. Peapod deciding to pull out of the Midwest, closing down their Chicago offices. That's where they started. There's an irony here. I thought it was, I mean, Peapod pulled out of the Midwest just as the coronavirus is hitting and more people are ordering online. Not
Right.
great timing. What do you make of that? Is that just the normal thing we're going to see about, the survival of the fittest, or is there something else going on?
Pure play grocery retail is hard to make money in, right? Because you have a basket of goods that's only groceries. Groceries tend to yield in their traditional environment, right? They yield a relatively small net profit on an order that's even, shopped through a store, right? So if you take those same products, put them in a fulfillment center and service them through local delivery, unless you're super efficient, driving real big volumes, and getting really good delivery density, it is hard to make money in those models, versus if you're a retailer that serves, across categories, where you can, create that larger customer's lifetime value, right? If building lifetime value only around grocery and only through delivery, is expensive. Delivering lifetime value only around grocery, but around that full basket grocery in and out of a store environment, that you can get there, with that. So not super surprising. It's unfortunate. I love those models. We built one at Amazon Fresh, but at Amazon Fresh, we also had the benefit of our customers, many of them being Prime members. And of course, we were serving them in many ways and creating, large kind of household value and lifetime value.
Well, it is a never-ending continuum, right?
Yeah.
Right, and the thing is, these guys may not be doing business there, and just as easy next week somebody could come up with a brand new idea.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the exciting things about it. So anyway, well, that's this edition of the Innovation Conversation. Tom, thanks for doing it.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time, everybody.